milling around the field. I feel Kal has put up a lot of cannons everywhere, so it's going to be kind of hard to harass. Tank's going to start by picking off some gas mining stuff. Also going to pick up the cannons. Vulture's going to come at the lower right hand, but 2 cannons in place to defend against his Vulture's. Going to try to get a few hits off. Not really that many probes at the location yet. And an Arbiter and Zealot's coming up at the upper left hand. They're going to be able to pick this off in seconds. Vulture's going to run in and get as many probe kills as they can. With, I think it was 1 before they get picked off. Tank also dying there at the low right hand. Meanwhile, waiting for an additional photon cannon before the probes filter safe enough. Oh, I think this. Okay, it was an observer. I was like, that was not a science vessel dying, right? I think that should have been an observer. That was if that was Hwasin picking off his own science vessel, something was wrong. But I think that was an observer because I think it was right on top of the science vessel and kind of exploded. So I thought that's what science vessel died. Let's see, producing Arbiters, producing pretty heavily from gateways. High support on Zealot. Does have some high tempo out in the field. I'm really liking that. Did have those in the shuttle. I feel he should keep that up because storms are so important. If he hadn't had storm, those 2 storms for that battle would have come out even more behind. Arbiter coming in with a stasis just as he's going to move in with forces. Going to try to engage his forces at the front. Forces in the middle getting picked off. Let's see. MP going to come up on the shuttle. Shuttle might go down in seconds. 1 High Templar being dropped. The shuttle goes down. No storms coming out from the High Templar. It's pretty badly weakened. Only Dragoons engaging. War Dragoons coming in from back. Another Arbiter. We're going to see what actually manages. Another stasis or what? Another stasis on the tanks and the tanks in the bank. Beautiful stasis here. So the forces at the front are going to unstasis just in time. Kal with a beautiful attack here. Hwasin going to drop some forces off at the upper left-hand position, but that might not do that much damage due to the cannons there. Vulture's trying to kind of engage in the middle hill. Arbiter might have gotten picked off by the Goliath, but as soon as these forces unstasis, they all go down. One defense matrix goes off on the tank, so that might survive. High Templar still in the mix, still waiting for an opportunity to storm. Probably waiting until we can get a storm off that group. Actually, I think he got picked off there. That many Dragoons in here that they might actually pick off the command zone. It is being repaired and the tanks have sieged. If that High Templar had stayed alive, he would have stormed those siege tanks and just blech. Goodbye. Well, okay, siege tanks don't melt like certain other forces do, but they still do a lot of damage. 1 Zealot at the upper left hand. Woo! 1 hero Zealot. But the Nexus might act. 1 more volley. Yes, 1 more volley enough. Ugh. Kal ignoring the upper left for far too long. So Hwasin still staying game. He did not lose his command center. Lost a bit of forces. Beautiful stasises by Kal. Really, really showing why he's improved his PVT so significantly lately. Why it's gone up by, I believe, more than 5%. And that's actually a significant shift. That's quite a bit of wins against the losses over a decent period of time. And Kal, like it, he keeps up getting his macro. And Hwasin's still doing a pretty good job of harassing. Gonna go at this this lower right hand. Gonna start sieging up against the Nexus, hoping to do the same as did the upper left hand, pick that Nexus off before Kal notices, sends forces. Kal's probably noticed, but he's a little bit lacking sending forces down. Actually gonna pick off the pylon before it does anything else. Pylon, I think might be, I think he actually has a second pylon to help at that. Low right hand is MP. MP goes off, but the stasis goes off just before the MP hits the Arbiter. A lot of, there's observers get for those mines. Just be very careful. A lot of mines out in the field. Fellas, a shuttle trying to find a location. I think there were Zealot bombs coming in there. Our Zealot bombs, sometimes getting picked off. Kal just trying to move in close. There's even more reinforcements coming in. Trying to pick off some of these mines before he runs in with his Zealots. Okay, 1 single Zealot taking a lot of mines. There are more mines going to get... Oh, 1 MP goes off on the Arbiter alongside. Only a few Goliaths out in the field. Some defensive masons goes up, but I think Kal's going to get in close enough to actually do significant damage. A storm goes off, hits a lot. Zealot's not going to pressure. Vulture's going to be forced back, hit those tanks at the back, and now the force that was stays in the middle are going to get picked off. Meanwhile, Hwasin has picked off yet another expansion of Kal's. So Hwasin's losing a lot of army, but he's still managing to stay in the game just because he's sniping expansions. Sniped 2 in a very short order right now. Another storm coming in from Kal. He's really using his forces to the max. Gonna heavily pressure this mineral only, and Hwasin does not want to lose this. He's not mining at his main, not mining much at all at his natural expo. It's mineral only at the 12 o'clock, really the only mining expansion. I feel Kal, you know, not really the kind of position he wants to attack at the 12 o'clock. He's just, okay, just mine from that. I'm going to pick off your army and going to try to penetrate your 3 o'clock. I'm sure it's a sexual term in some case. A command center actually was built for by Hwasin there behind the mineral lines. I assume that's to float off to the lower right. He's might want to open that field up a little bit, you know, kind of eradicate the cannons before he actually thinks of doing that. Scan's going to go off, try to spot forces, and still Kal keeping up the macro. Gonna manage to pick off the tanks. Gonna make sure this lower right hand stays alive. The tanks really trying to do a little bit of damage before that happens, but they do go down. But Hwasin still staying in the game just due to his beautiful base sniping. Really doing absolutely beautiful base sniping. And then he has a border. Oh, always goons dying to those mines. That's why we need those observers, matey. Godzillas need observers no matter what. You know, they can't go around blind. A lot of High Templars readied by Kal. Using a lot of, does have shuttles in play, using a lot of Zealot bombs, but also, as some think at the beginning of a battle, use High Templar inside of the shuttle to get a High Templar in a decent position for some storms. A lot of gateways. I think he's producing forces off 12+ gateways at this point. And Hwasin mining up that position off to his 3rd o'clock very heavily. Kal on 3-2 upgrades, armored 2, weapons 3. Same for Hwasin, so in upgrades they're very, very equal. Yeah, all in all, good position. And I really like it when two players keep up upgrade-wise to their macro and don't let themselves lose that way. I see a lot of protoss fall behind upgrades, and they start losing battles only because of that, despite the fact that they're ahead macro-wise, economy-wise. Yeah, Hwasin yet again going to put up a defensive grid, going down this lower right hand, make sure those cannons come up. Wants that base for himself. Wonder whether it's actually started floating up or not. Yeah. Stasis off one science vessel. If those science vessels get eliminated, of course, those fours going to be able to come in. Do a lot of damage. One arbor coming in. Got a stasis up before it got EMP'd. 3rd arbor going to come in. Try to get another stasis off. No. Yes. I don't know. Some mines propelling themselves into those zealots. Are going to push back a little bit. A lot of mine clearing done during that attack. And Hwasin's still not floating up his command center to the lower right. Not really mining much at all. Kal also not that much. He still has been only active and the upper left hand, not mining on the lower right hand, but he did have more bases for longer. And actually losing that mining might be a little bit of damaging to him because he had a hell of a macro, which is somewhat keeping up. Hwasin moved out a little bit here, taking the low ground. I feel it was probably safer to hold that high ground. Is massing up forces there right now, trying to siege up vultures at the front. High ground, of course, highly very good thing to have. I don't think this is actually the kind of. I'm not sure if this is actually the kind of high ground where dragoons miss a lot. Might be. And because there is a certain type of high ground where it's not really that high that dragoons actually don't have a misfire chance. And Kal just being pushed back there a little bit. But at this point, advantage, hard to say. I feel Kal has come off ahead better in battles, but Hwasin has done a lot more harassment. Now going to start sieging against this 6 o'clock, picking off a lot of probes. Meanwhile, has floated his command center to the lower right hand. So he might actually be coming ahead a little bit, still keeping his army up, despite the fact that he's lost more battles than Kal. He's that science was a lot of spotter, making sure it's to keep it out of cannon range. And if Kal loses at 6 o'clock, it is a little bit damaging for him. He doesn't want to lose any mine bases. He hasn't actually done any recalls, and I'm really surprised by this. Probably knows the heavily fortified positions of Hwasin's, and actually, as I say, this might be an arbiter coming in for recall, flying around here. Mine's definitely spotting him, so if this is going to be a recall, it's going to be fully ready. A lot of turrets. I don't even think this recall is going to come down. Is it going to get it? No! Sacrificed arbiter doing nothing. A lot of turrets. Hwasin